made contact and shattered.
At some point, Chris locates what's called a dry bag.
Law enforcement had considered Laundrie the only person of interest in the murder of his fiancée, Gabby Petito.
On Liberty, a missing 4-year-old. The parents have called in and advised that the mother had went for a walk, came home, now they can't find her. They've been yelling for her. She's been gone for about 10 minutes now.
Turn it over to another agency. Let's get some help.
Hello? John.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for being here for another ATS live stream. We are doing the DELPHI case today, and we will be doing updates on the Idaho 4 murders, but not this morning, possibly tomorrow morning, because we will be getting a press conference today, later in the afternoon on that case. So then we'll come back together and do some updates on that. Right now, in the DELPHI case, yesterday we had the hearing, as you all know, and the hearing was to decide whether or not the arrest affidavit would remain sealed or not, because a lot of people want to know why exactly people feel Richard Allen is the bridge guy, why he's being arrested. Obviously, the arrest affidavit would be shown to the public in many other cases and incidences, but it's been sealed here to protect the investigation. So yesterday, pretty much the judge decided that it would not release the documents in the DELPHI murders case at this time, and that the judge will decide at a later date whether or not it will be unsealed and released to the public. So that's what happened yesterday, and then there's a bond hearing for Richard Allen set for February 17th. Also, it said that the lawyers for Richard Allen filed a motion for bail and based the bail motion on a lack of evidence and cited that the probable cause affidavit doesn't give enough evidence in there for them to give him no bail. So they're hoping to get some bail for him also, because they just feel like it's a flimsy case against their client. So that's the update. What we will do is go through Richard Allen's lawyer's statement and just a little update from an article from people who were in the courtroom. So let's start there. Good morning, everybody in chat. Thank you for being here. Hi, Princess Megan, Elsa, Mel, Mac, Rhonda, Pam. Allegedly, it's good to see you guys. So glad you're here. I saw EE, Caroline, Angela, Florida Bass Fishing is here. Pam, if I missed you, I'm just scrolling through and I appreciate you all being here. So thank you so much. So let's just read from a little article in the, some of the media was in the courtroom yesterday. So this is like a first-hand eyewitness account of the court session. So let me just play that for you. And like I said, we'll listen to the lawyer's statement, and then we're going to go into a court TV segment near the end as well. So thanks for being here, everyone. And if you haven't hit the like button, give me a little like, and we'll get our algorithm out there and more people can join the chat, and you guys can bounce off of them in chat too. So hit the like button. DELPHI murder suspect Richard Allen could have had an accomplice to the double murder, according to prosecutors fighting to keep his arrest affidavit under wraps as the alleged killer remains behind bars until next year. Richard Allen, 50, is accused of murdering both Libby German, 14, and her friend Abigail Williams, 13, as they hiked the trail in Indiana in February 2017. Media reported that the prosecutor said in court that there is reason to believe that Richard Allen is not the only one involved in the killings, though no other names were mentioned. They said, "We believe Richard Allen is not the only actor involved in this." Ron Logan, who died in 2020, had been the prime suspect in the killings after the girls' bodies were found on his property, and Keegan Klein was also named as a possible murderer. Richard Allen was given court-appointed lawyers after sending a handwritten letter to the judge asking for representation last week. A judge in Indiana put off his bail hearing until next year and will mull over the decision to unseal the arrest affidavit, as the mother of one of the alleged victims begs for it to remain sealed. His lawyers have since filed a request for Richard Allen to be released without posting bond or by setting a reasonable bail amount, which will be considered on February 17th at the bail hearing. Currently, the only details that have been released are that Allen's initial bail was set at $20 million following his arrest, though he is reportedly now being held without bond. He has pleaded not guilty to both counts of murder, and the prosecutors have sealed his arrest warrant from being accessed by the public. The state has filed a motion requesting a gag order in the case. Andrew Baldwin, defense attorney for Allen, says that he is the wrong guy, and the sealed probable cause affidavit is flimsy, adding, "You expect more than what I saw." As part of Richard Allen's petition to be let out on bail, his attorneys say because neither the proof of guilt is evident nor the presumption of guilt strong, the accused is seeking a hearing to release the accused. Though prosecutors did not name any potential accomplices, both Logan and Klein have been long linked with the slayings. Both girls' bodies, which are thought to have been posed, were discovered on Logan's property just 1,400 feet from his house, and it was revealed over the summer that his alibi for the day of the murders did not line up. His home was searched and he was arrested shortly after the killings, but he was released and never charged. The voice in the clip released by police of a man talking to the girls shortly before their deaths was described as being not inconsistent with that of Logan, the FBI investigation concluded. Keegan Klein, 28, of Peru, Indiana, was also previously named as a suspect in the murders by Indiana State Police and was interviewed by cops. Keegan Klein admitted to talking to Libby German using a fake Instagram profile called Anthony Shots. He is said to have arranged to meet with Libby on the Delphi High Bridge the day before she was murdered while walking along it. But he is also said to have shared his Anthony Shots password with others, including his father, and said his father could be a prime suspect in the killings. Klein is being held in jail after being arrested on separate child P charges in 2022. Carroll County prosecutors requested that the court records be sealed, with Judge Frances Gull deciding to delay her decision on it. Fox News 59 confirmed that no one else was named during the court hearing as being linked to the case. The probable cause affidavit and charging information will remain under seal until Judge Gull makes her decision, as the mother of Libby has begged for it to remain under wraps. Carrie Timmons, the mother of Libby, has also slammed Indiana State Police for not making an arrest sooner, with the CVS pharmacy technician never being named by them in their initial investigations. Carrie Timmons added that she feels the affidavit should remain sealed, saying, "What's waiting a little longer going to do? I don't want anything to happen that would jeopardize the case in any way, so if the affidavit being sealed manages to seal the deal and get a conviction, then leave it sealed." Officers with Indiana State Police are insisting that the case is still active, which leaves the door open for others to be charged. Police reports seen by Fox 59 revealed that officers were sent to Richard Allen's home on June 18, 2015 at around 3:30 in the morning to reports of a domestic incident. The sheriff said Richard was allegedly drunk and his wife took him to a hospital for a medical evaluation. Authorities confirmed that their role was to keep the peace during the incident and no arrests or charges were filed.
Allen has no criminal history, but Carroll County dispatch records show he had one encounter with police in 2015. The sheriff said it was a domestic issue where Allen was supposedly drunk and his wife took him to a Lafayette hospital. No law enforcement action was taken, but deputies were sent to his Delphi home to, quote, keep the peace.
My co-counsel Brad said at the end of the hearing, prosecutor and the police for the last.
All right, so before I carry on with Richard's lawyer's statement after their hearing, I just wanted to check in with chat and thank everyone who's joining, and thank you for being here. Hi, Evil CJ Concept Podcast. It's good to see you. Roxanne, so glad you're here. So I just wanted to go through that, and I thought it was interesting that the judge basically decided to keep it sealed. According to the lawyer, though, he's going to state that there's nothing in the probable cause affidavit that, in his opinion, would make it risky to share to the public. They're pretty much downplaying what's ever in there. Obviously, they would because they're in defense of their client. But it's just making me even more and more curious what's in that affidavit, because the way that they talk about it and how it's not solid, and it's the case that they have against their client is on shaky ground. It just makes me nervous. And I'm really curious when exactly the judge will decide if it will be released. Now, why can't they release it with a redacted version? What do you guys think about that? Do you think that they could at least redact some of the information, or is that just pointless? So let me just play the lawyer's statements here, okay, guys? And thank you again for being here.
A number of years have been conducting press conferences and asking the public for help. Now we're asking for the public for help. You're going to read that probable cause affidavit online or wherever they get it, and hopefully that's going to ring a bell for somebody to help us out, because he is innocent. He has told us that very emotionally. He has thanked us for our help. And we are anxious for the public to read this. We're anxious for this thing to get going. And we'll see. And when you guys read the PCA, presuming that the judge grants our motion, you will have to question, is this what happens after 5 years of an investigation? Is this what it is? We don't have any other evidence. We don't have any discovery. That's all we have, and we are not impressed. Well, you never know.
So they're not impressed. They're basically downplaying everything that they have in the affidavit against their client, which obviously a lawyer would do. Excuse me. I feel like this lawyer, you know how sometimes they add a little bit of theatrics when they're in the courtroom? I feel like this lawyer knows how to play the camera. This was only a little clips of the interview. There is like a more full one, but I believe that this is more of like the highlighted parts without the ums and the reporters asking the questions and stuff. So I kind of edited it in a streamlined way so that we could just hear him speak about Richard Allen. But I just find what he has to say very interesting, and it's adding more confusion. Yeah, Princess Megan said, I'm confused with this case. Is the lawyer pro bono? I believe he's what is it? Public defender. So I don't know how he's getting paid. The lawyer acted like he knew nothing about the case, but how does he not when it has been all over the news for years? I agree. And I felt like I was saying with the theatrics with the lawyers, I felt like him kind of playing it off as if he didn't know much about the case is part of his act. I don't know exactly what that would mean, but I did kind of sense that there was a huge emphasis of him saying that he didn't know much about this case. So I was like, okay, maybe he's trying to come at it from, he wants everyone to know, like, I'm coming at it from a non-biased angle, haven't been watching the media, etc. So I don't know. Corey says the lawyer is looking for notoriety now. Definitely could be. Mark said, hey, Amber, just joining in. Hello. And hello, everyone. Hi. Thanks for being here. And good morning, everybody. Thank you for being here. Hit that like button. And let's finish this little interview with the lawyer.
Know what person out there might read something and it might ring a bell. It might cause them to point the finger in the direction of the actual killer. This whole business of the two people being involved, the conjecture from the prosecutor today was new information for us. I've been on this case, folks, for 6 days. So I don't know a whole lot. We have not seen the evidence. Another person involved. I mean, that's new news. So
that's not reflected in the PCA?
Not the PCA that I read.
So he's claiming that the PC that they looked at doesn't name anybody else. So there's, you know, how we've kind of all speculated, like, oh, well, you know, they might be protecting other people who are involved. There could be names in that PC that they just don't want out there yet. They have to keep the integrity of the investigation and connecting the dots, blah, blah, blah. He's claiming that what he looked at, there's no other name mentioned. like, for example, Keegan Klein or Keegan Klein's father. There's nothing in there. Ron Logan, I mean, he's not saying that their names aren't in there, but he literally just said, like, there's nothing in there that indicates, like, they have something solid. So let me just rewind that a little bit, hear that again.
I mean, that's new news. So
That's not reflected in the PCA?
not the PCA that I read. Not the PCA that
Do you have any information about the potential involvement of Keegan Klein in this case?
I have no information about that.
Why do you think it's important for the public to see this probable cause affidavit?
Again, I think it's important because somebody might read something, a line about, you're going to see maybe about a vehicle or about a person or about a time frame, and it might ring a bell, something that they hadn't thought of before. And when they read that, then they can contact us as his lawyers. We're getting lots of information from lots of people across the country. We don't know what is hoaxes. We don't know what's true. We don't know if it's a podcaster's, opportunity to get in the limelight. We don't know what's real, but we're going to look at it.
And yeah, I definitely agree. Melmac said lawyers embellish stuff. And I mean, him right now, pretty much saying like, we need this public so that, in case somebody read this, they thought, oh my gosh, now all of a sudden I remember like 2017, so-and-so, and I saw this weird car, like I get his argument, and I get that that's what they argued to the judge, that like, it's not our client who the murderer is. So we need to have this information out there because the murderer is still out there. And this information could help you guys, go in the direction of who really did this, which, interesting argument. At the same time, like I've put up on the screen, the map of everything that went down that day. We do know that Richard Allen lives less than 2 miles away from the bridge. We know that him and his family frequented the bridge area. His daughter has that picture of herself on the bridge. There's all these little things that have taken place that if it's not Richard Allen, then that's interesting, because to me, the bridge guy looks like Richard Allen. Like, I know that it's a grainy image. I've gotten all the comments on the video or on my videos saying you can't tell. I've even gotten comments still saying it's Ron Logan. Guys, I'm not even joking. I almost wonder if there's like trolls in this case that are commenting that, because I'm like, I thought we went through this. But no joke, guys. So I definitely see their angle of being like the murderer is still out there, like, and this information in the PCA could, trigger the memory of somebody who actually did see something. But at the same time, it's been almost 6 years, with the information that is out there in the case. Like, wouldn't they have already come forward and said so-and-so? But at the same time, Richard Allen has been right under the radar all these years and no one said anything.
Every single person that contacts us, we're going to contact them, everybody, and we're going to figure out if what they know is helpful.
What, if anything, has your client, Richard Allen, said this has impacted him and or his family?
Obviously, this has impacted Richard and his family tremendously. I mean, his wife is just a wonderful person, and she loves her husband. They've been married for over 30 years. They were basically high school sweethearts. They love each other, and she fully supports him, but it is devastating. She's scared. She doesn't want to leave her house. She did leave her house. She, thankfully, is in a little bit better place than she was a month ago.
So there you hear it. The wife is standing by her husband, been together, 30 plus years. Yep, Marilyn, wife is standing behind him. So that must say that she had no idea, right? I mean, she supports him, Corey, apparently. Doug Carter has said Bridge Guy is the person who killed the girls. Now he's saying Richard Allen is Bridge Guy. It's pretty clear to me anyway. I agree. And like, him saying like, oh, he's so confused, he's baffled why this is happening. It's like, is he baffled? Or the other thing that I just, I find very noteworthy, and we kind of touched on it a little bit, is the DV call with Richard Allen and his wife that took place in 2015. That, what was going on there, basically. And interesting that even with knowledge, I mean, it wouldn't be the first time that a unhealthy relationship, they still stay strong together, even though there's some stuff behind closed doors. I mean, the cops showing up there, and I guess the wife needed him to go to a hospital or something. Sounds like they've had some crazy times in their marriage.
But this is all new to them.
Can you say anything about why investigators are focused on your client?
You guys will read the probable cause affidavit, and you may wonder why they are focused on our client.
That is, your client's the wrong guy?
Our client's the wrong guy. Transparency is important in government. It may be weird for defense lawyers, I suppose, to be arguing that we want things unsealed, but that's how confident we are in our client. That's how confident we are that the evidence contained in at least what's written in the probable cause affidavit is nothing for us to worry about. We don't know what other evidence is out there, but we're confident that whatever is out there is not going to be enough to show that our client did anything here.
So here I put this video of him going into court yesterday up on my channel. I had people comment who say, walks just like Bridge Guy. And like, I love the comments under my comment section, guys, but like, he's got shackles on his ankles. Like, I can't even tell that his walk is Bridge Guy here. But I do think that Richard Allen is Bridge Guy, but this footage was not the best to compare the walk. But yeah, I agree with you allegedly. I don't blame this poor lawyer for saying what he's saying. He had no choice to defend Richard Allen. He's assigned, poor guy. I know. I wonder, like, behind closed doors, what it was like for his legal team to be like, yeah, it's you. You're the winner. You're going to do it. Yeah, exactly. And thank you for bringing that up, Marilyn, because that's just another thing kind of on my list of like, okay, so it's not your client, but yet blah, 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 lives less than 2 miles away, frequented the bridge before. And then like Marilyn said, Richard Allen said he was there that day, but didn't see anything. Yeah, he came forward, and it's come out that he did come forward to a conservation officer. Conservation officer is not a sheriff department entity. It's separate. It's not, pretty much sheriff and state police and all that outrank a conservation officer. Their job is to be like a forest ranger, etc., wildlife protector, I guess you could say. But he came forward and said, yeah, I was there that day. So your client was there that day. He lives less than 2 miles away. He fits the description of Bridge Guy, in my opinion. But yet it's not him. I mean, I get it. Okay, Ruckus Rocks, thanks for being here. We'll talk soon. Yeah, deer in the headlights. That's what I think too. YouTube creators that support Ron Logan did it theory. They're contacting Richard's attorney is disgusting, in my opinion. I agree. And it doesn't surprise me that a case going on this long, there's going to be people who are going to help them out, like the defense team. And the defense team literally asked for help. They're like, if you know anything or if you have any tips, let us know. It's unfortunate that Ron Logan's not around anymore because he can't defend himself, but I just don't see Bridge Guy being Ron Logan. Now, that just reminded me, I added in, after we go through this court stuff and the lawyer speaking, I added in the voice comparison, which we've done before, but I'm going to do it again, of Richard Allen and Bridge Guy. But for shits and giggles, I added in Ron Logan's voice comparison because, guys, I'm not even kidding you. And like Marilyn said in chat, there are people who are going to contact the defense team and they're going to use Ron Logan as the scapegoat. So I feel like that's wrong. I don't think that Ron Logan is Bridge Guy or the murderer. However, was he involved on some level? I can't say no with 100% certainty. I mean, I'm just being honest. I can't say no, that he had no idea. I mean, it's on his property. Why would he? There's all those things that we've gone through. But yeah, we'll compare Ron Logan's voice at the end of this. So stick around. I think other people were already down the hill, Cray Cray said. I definitely think that's a possibility. And like I said, this whole bridge and down the hill and guys down the hill, I mean, we don't know the sequence and all that of what's on that 43-second video. Like, we only know the small window of glimpses that they've given us. And, they have a feeling, and they've mentioned in court, Looking Glass Tarot, that Richard Allen did have help. So it's interesting. And good morning, Titanium Build. It's good to see you. I don't think Ron Logan had anything to do with it, right? Never heard of all 43 seconds. Yeah, they're claiming that it's too graphic for the public, but I think that the public should decide, or, I mean, once it's in trial mode and they can release some more information, I hope they do. Good morning, Twisted Gemini. It's good to see you. Yeah, exactly. How convenient the dead guy did it. Right.
Confused, he's bewildered. Rick, you guys all call him Richard. He actually goes by Rick. Rick is bewildered, he's confused. He has no idea why this is going on. How can an innocent man be accused of a crime like this and have their life upended? That's the kind of stuff that we've talked about with him. And the same can be said for.
Just pausing it real quick. What's also interesting about him stating that you guys call him Richard, but he goes by Rick. I think either in the first live stream on this case I did, or one of the first live streams I've done on this case, I'm in a DELPHI Facebook group. It's a private group full of web sleuths like everyone here, and they bounce around on theories and ideas, etc. After Richard Allen was arrested, somebody in the group shared a screenshot, and it's in another video. I don't have it where I can pull it up here, but it showed somebody who was in the group, and his name was Ricky. And he was basically participating in group conversations and theories, talking about the sketch, etc. And people believe that that was Richard Allen in the group. And he's been behind the scenes following the investigation closely, even on social media. So it's interesting that the lawyer here says, you guys call him Richard, he goes by Ricky. Well, that does kind of align with the theory that this guy was in a Facebook group, kind of following what everyone's theories were. And the name was Ricky. So, but apparently it's not their guy.
His wife. How can an innocent man be charged, accused, and basically convicted in the court of public opinion is what they say. But what I said to him is, there's plenty of people out there that are supporting you. We're getting a lot of calls from a lot of people that don't believe that Rick is the guy.
Cable snap. There's the wheelchair coming up. Monday afternoon, I was in Lafayette Aquarium World getting a tropical fish for my aquarium. So when I came home, one of the neighbors stopped and asked permission to come back here and look for the missing girls, and that's the first time I knew anything about it.
So, I mean, I know that the FBI said that Ron Logan's voice was not inconsistent with Bridge Guy, but I'm not hearing it. I mean, again, I'm not the best clipper or editor. Maybe I could have picked a different sentence that Ron Logan was saying, but I'm not hearing a similarity. I don't know if you guys want me to play that again. I would be happy to. But there was something else I wanted to share with you guys before I pulled up the Court TV segment. It was part of the article that I was reading in the beginning of the stream. Yeah, I agree, Missy. The voice is just like not even close, in my opinion. Right. Cray Cray said they could run from the old guy. I'm not hearing it either. I mean, I've tried, guys. I've listened closely. I've closed my eyes. I'm not hearing Ron Logan as the person who said guys down the hill. Now, what I did hear, which was sort of like a new thing for me, which I know other people have gone down the avenue. Yeah, exactly. It's a double negative. I never understood not inconsistent. It doesn't mean anything. I agree, Midwest Mima. People have speculated that guys down the hill is two separate people. What do you guys think of that theory? Like the person saying guys is actually different than the person who says down the hill. Now that I could maybe get on board more with than Ron Logan's voice being bridge guy. So let me just play those again, just so that we can kind of just hone in on guys down the hill. I'm not saying it's different people, but I could see why maybe that would be a possibility. So we'll do Richard Allen voice first. And then Ron Logan.
Coming up. Monday afternoon, I was in Lafayette Aquarium World getting a tropical fish for my aquarium. So when I came home, one of the neighbors stopped and asked for permission to come back here and look for the missing girls, and that's the first time I knew anything about it.
Yes, so thank you, Evil CJ said 79 likes, over 200 watching. Please hit the like button quick. Yes, please. Allegedly said they say not inconsistent because they want to keep it open for possible future investigations. And I definitely could see that, like just keep the door open in case they had to go down that avenue, like for a conviction or just to re-listen to it. But yeah, everyone seems to think that it's Richard Allen's voice. Joe R says they hear only one person. So the person saying guys and down the hill, one person in their opinion. Jojo said could for sure be two people. Definitely not Ron Logan. I agree, Alicia, I agree. I've always thought guys bit doesn't sound like down the hill bit. Yeah. And I never really explored that until this week. So it's just something to kind of keep in mind. Like maybe it is two people. Yeah. BB Bent says I could see it being two people's voices. Just leaving it out there as a possibility. I feel like that's more of a possibility than the fact that it's Ron Logan's voice. But we'll see. Now, what I want to pull up now is in the beginning of the stream, I read some of the media's reports from the court hearing yesterday. There was something in there that I was kind of stunned by, and I just want to get your guys' take on it. I read it, but then after I had read it and recorded it, I was like, wait, did that just say that? So again, say what you will, but it is coming from the Daily Mail, but they were in the courtroom. So, they're there reporting closer than any of us. So I feel like this source was appropriate to use. But this one part I highlighted, I don't know if this was in the transcripts and I just haven't gotten to that part because I have the transcripts, but obviously I haven't read them thoroughly. Says here, this is referring to Keegan Klein, by the way. He is also said to have shared the Anthony Schatz's password with others, including his father, and said his father could be a prime suspect in the killings. This is the first time I'm hearing that. Hi, Brookie. It's good to see you. Yes, hit the like button, subscribe and share, hit the bell. So I've never heard them. I don't know if this is just a part of the transcripts. Like I said, I haven't gotten to or read, but did you guys know that Keegan Klein basically is saying his father could be the prime suspect? Again, this is Daily Mail. Is this false information? That's why I'm here to ask you guys and anyone on replay. Let me know your thoughts. Also, I know that you guys have followed this closer, and I know that you guys maybe have read the transcripts closer than I have. So yeah, the father is not a good guy, I'll just say, because I know YouTube doesn't really like when we use certain words. But yeah, Mike says, I think Tony was there, just my opinion, and involved. I think that that's a high possibility for sure. Yeah, I never heard this before. I can't believe his wife seen sketches of him and never thought it was him. You're not the only one, Rhonda. I mean, and now to know that she's standing by him, I mean, it's like nice, but at the same time, I'm like, really? So you don't think that guy on the bridge is your husband? Even though he said that he was on the bridge that day. I don't know, guys. I don't know. She might be in denial. Is Tony Klein out of jail? I'm not sure. Keegan's father is involved, Corey says. I just have to. Richard Allen is really a kind of non-descriptive guy, just saying. I know. He looks like the average Joe. Okay, Joe R. did hear this somewhere, that Keegan is blaming his father, possibly. That fat piggy ratted out his own father. It seems like that, according to this source. I'm assuming that they're sourcing the transcripts because they have referenced his transcripts in other articles that we've gone through. So, yeah, sunset gazing. I mean, people might be mad at me for saying that's a possibility, but I think it is a possibility. They said, or could be spouses who play together, stay together. And somebody else said that the wife is holding secrets. I mean, it's definitely possible. His wife holds his secrets. Did they cray? I didn't see them go to the court. Yeah, love is blind. There's no way she didn't recognize Bridge Guy. She does his laundry. She knows how he walks, Amstel said. Keegan was being groomed. Yeah, he could have been a great husband and father, and they could totally be blindsided. You're totally right. And I have to keep that option out there. I don't want to just blame the wife and all this stuff, but at the same time, it's very shocking. Sassy Patriot said, good morning, ATS News, mods and chat. I'm sorry I haven't been around a lot, but I'm still in the middle of moving. Been moving for 2 whole weeks and still not finished in the new house. So, well, that's awesome that you're in your new setup. I know moving sucks. I have to do it in like 18 months. Not looking forward to it. Was he abusive to his wife? There has been a call. We went through it in the beginning of the live stream. A DV situation, I believe 2015. And yeah, Corey brought up a good point. BTK was a great father. Yeah, churchgoer. So, all right, now that I've pulled this up and we've kind of talked about, okay, hold on. I love the Grinch emoji, so I just wanted to pull this up. First off, if he was telling it's not called ratting it out, what the actual F? Everyone better snitch if they got info. Saying it like anyone who tells is a rat is BS. I think that chat was just using that term like, loosely. It's nothing to, obviously we want people to come forward with information. We don't think that they're, I mean, Keegan Klein, if we're referring to him, he's definitely not a good person. So if people want to call him a rat, I'm okay with that. But all right, so let me just switch screens and we'll pull up the Court TV segment. And all it's pretty much going to be talking about is what we've kind of already discussed. But I like to reference Court TV and we can just kind of hear their take on everything. So they're going to be discussing how the affidavit is going to remain sealed. The judge is going to determine at a future date whether or not it will unseal them or when they will, and all that. So let me just switch screens. And thank you all again for being here. I really appreciate you all.
Let's switch gears now to Indiana. A hearing is underway at this hour.
The hair serum, which has basically kind of transformed my hair, and I have seen.
Now to Indiana. A hearing is underway at this hour in the DELPHI murder case. Police arrested 50-year-old Richard Allen earlier this month for the 2017 deaths of teenagers Abigail Williams and Libby German. The documents around this case, of course, as we all know now, are completely sealed. But today's hearing might change that. No cameras are allowed in court. The judge is hearing arguments about whether the probable cause affidavit and the charging information that led police to arrest Allen will be made public or stay a secret, at least for now. Also on the docket, Allen is asking for the court to either reduce or set some bail or release him on his own recognizance. His lawyers claim that, hey, they've looked at the charging documents here and they believe that he's entitled for bail and they don't have enough to prove his guilt. Chris Ann Hall and Cannon Kearney. Cannon, before we talk to you, let's do this. Let's watch this report from our Scripps affiliate. Rafael Sanchez is the reporter, and this is a look at, because the public wants the information out, but the families, they're actually siding with investigators. Take a look.
The arrest of Richard Allen, accused of the murders of Abby Williams and Libby German in Delphi, has sparked many questions, especially how was he able to hide in plain sight for nearly 6 years in the city of 3,000? Details of his arrest remain sealed under court order, and the grandmother of Libby German supports a petition drive demanding the court documents remain out of public view until it's necessary.
The bottom line is that's what we want. We want to be able to have a fair trial for the defendant and for the prosecution. And if our prosecutor feels that it's necessary to seal these documents for the time being, then I believe in him.
Becky tells me she's.
Now, I just want to pause it real quick and kind of ask Chat's opinion here, because I'm torn. Now, the family is very much backing up the prosecution's decision to keep this sealed. You know, they want to protect justice and ensure justice for their family. I'm curious, though, for people like you, Corey, who have been following this stuff for 6 years, who have just been waiting, you know, obviously, like, what's in that arrest affidavit, you want to know. When she's saying we want to ensure that there is justice and everyone's rights are being met, etc., there's a lot of people, and I'm not saying that this is how I feel, but there's a lot of people who feel Richard Allen's rights are being, I don't know, infringed on maybe, or I don't know. But I'm wondering how Chat and those who are watching on replay, do you guys feel that this is fair? Even though you want justice and you want this guy to fry, do you think that how they're treating him is fair? I'm just curious.
She supports the First Amendment, but she's concerned that internet sleuths and others will hurt the case even with redactions.
So why take a chance of letting these people bombarding them? So, I mean, it's going to be tough enough for them to be witnesses. They don't need the extra stress.
Nearly 1 week since learning of Allen's arrest, the families now preparing for what they know will be weeks, possibly months of hearings before a trial.
And I have seen that there's people out there that have said that our prosecutor is doing this to protect the family, so that we don't have to see what's in there. And that's not the case. And he wouldn't do it. He wouldn't do it just for our feelings. This case is too important, and we wouldn't want him to do it.
Working for you, Rafael Sanchez, WRTV.
All right, let's bring him back in, Chris Ann and Cannon. Cannon, in this one, the prosecutor wants it sealed. So far, everything is sealed. We do know that during today's hearing, the judge has reserved judgment on this, and for now, everything is still sealed, but he's going to take it under advisement. And as far as bail, we're still waiting to confirm, but it sounds like there'll be a bail hearing set, which is expected. What about the sealing, though? Other people could be involved. That's the prevailing argument here, I guess. However, there are also well-established benchmarks, rules, regulations, whatever you are. Open it. We can't have people being plucked off the street as a society without any explanation, right? And there's this push and pull here. How do you think this is going to iron out?
Well, Ted, I agree wholeheartedly. I believe here the judge must make the decision to make the documents public. At the time that they were sealed, they said that the defendant was not a person of interest anymore or no longer a suspect. So it did make sense for them to seal the records in order to preserve the integrity of the defendant. But now that this is something that they're going to move forward with charges and it's going to be formal, I believe that the public, the First Amendment screams that we have the right to understand what is going on in the community. So I do believe that the courts will unseal the documents. As for the bail.
All right, I just wanted to comment a little bit here on Dawn's comment. I think it's a good one. And obviously you guys all have good comments. She said, I'm a little behind, had to pause, but I think the lawyer was saying all that and wants the PC out for the sleuths to dig in because he can present those theories as reasonable doubt, in my opinion. It's definitely a possibility, and it would definitely align with the fact that he was asking people, yeah, just reach out if you have anything or any information, get a hold of us. And we talked about, Ron Logan being there out and an avenue for them, and people are contacting the defense team already with Ron Logan stuff, and it's just like, here we go. I definitely think that's possible, and I definitely think that they're going to be grasping at straws with whatever theory they come up with. So, but yeah, it seems like the majority of chat is saying keep it sealed. There are people who are saying, give us something, redact it, and I could definitely get on with a redacted version. That would be middle ground, possibly protecting some of the investigation, names involved, etc. But then also giving everyone the visual of, okay, this is why they think it's this guy. But yeah, I have no qualms against them keeping it sealed. Honestly, I support that.
I don't believe that the prosecution in one hand can say they did a thorough investigation in which they decided to seal documents and not make an arrest years ago and not provide the defendant with the ability to at least get bail or to be freed on his own recognizance as he stayed in the community, and there hasn't been any other issues since. So I do believe he should at the bare minimum release bail, but I do believe that he passes all the tests in order to be released on his own cognizance.
Chris Ann?
I am a former prosecutor, but I am currently a constitutional attorney. And this is foremost an issue of a right to a speedy and public trial. You're absolutely right. There is no reason why any government prosecutor should be able to hold someone without bail, without making those documents open to the public. This is the quintessential reason why the founders of our Bill of Rights demanded that encoded in our ideology in due process is a right to a speedy and public trial. So people cannot be held in secret. The defense attorneys who have seen this have said, look, there's not enough evidence to bring these charges. There's not enough proof of guilt to hold him. He has no criminal record. He only.
I'm just pausing it here to play a little bit of devil's advocate and kind of go along with what she's saying. The lawyers have stated that there's nothing in the arrest affidavit that really is solid to them. Is that why they're keeping it sealed, guys? Like, not that that's why they're keeping it sealed, but is there a reason why they're kind of prolonging this? Because they want public opinion to convict him first, and then they'll release the affidavit like, okay, yeah. And by then everyone's on board with Richard Allen being guilty. Again, I'm just playing devil's advocate. I'm just saying, like, is that possible? But ultimately, I agree with Amstel. Richard definitely looks like Bridge Guy. And I mean, he came forward and said, I was on the bridge that day. So, I mean, oops. Lawyers probably aren't too happy about that aspect.
He has traffic tickets, paid everything. And if, in fact, this is the case that the prosecutor wants to bring.
And I'm sorry, guys, her audio is a little bit choppy. I don't know if she had like a poor connection, but it's not the stream. It's just Court TV's connection with this constitutional lawyer on. So sorry about that.
Then the defendant has a right of process to have that published publicly and for the prosecution to be held under that kind of public scrutiny.
We'll see what this judge in Indiana does. Again, the suspect in the Delphi murders in court this morning in Indiana. We have an affiliate there. Then we'll update you throughout the day on anything that is definitively decided. Sounds like that might not be the case from what we're getting out of the courtroom so far.
So that is the update in the Delphi case right now with Richard Allen. We talked about his lawyers. We talked about the first hand witnesses in the courtroom that day. All of that is in the beginning of the live stream. So that's all I have to present today, guys. I really appreciate you all being here. We will obviously stay on top of this case. We obviously want justice for Libby and Abby. And we're very invested here on this channel to this case. We are following other cases. I do want to make a live stream on Debbie Collier's death conclusion in that case. I also want to talk about Leilani Simon, who has been arrested for her son's murder. Quentin Simon, you know, there's other things going on in true crime right now that I definitely will be touching on. So stick around and subscribe, like the stream. Check back for other live streams. I also have a Chris Watts family documentary that is almost literally, it's like over 3 hours long. It's a very extensive documentary. Imagine the Netflix documentary on the Watts case, but times 10, because they only showed a very small glimpse to the whole story. So I'm trying to unveil everything that took place during their marriage, during their life together, and then it goes into the affair and their last days together, and then obviously the investigation after their deaths. So that's what I'm working on behind the scenes. And like I had stated in the beginning of the live stream, we will be following the Idaho 4 homicides closely as well. So I hope to go live tomorrow morning. That's the hope. So yeah, Nicola, I'm excited. I know that a lot of my subscribers kind of started following me on the Watts case. So I feel like I had to revamp my Watts documentary that I have. It needs to be, you know, tuned up. It's a couple years old before the audios and all that was enhanced. So I'm just going back through and pretty much enhancing everything that I've already got on the Watts case on my channel. So it'll all be in one documentary, and it's been behind the scenes being worked on for months now. So it's just kind of my dedication to everyone who's, you know, started following me because of that case. This channel was built on that case. You know, we just fell down that rabbit hole. Yes, Twisted Gemini, I did see the Watts house sold. I just can't even believe it. I can't imagine living there. Although I don't think anyone died in that house. I think that they died right at Cervi. And all that can be explained on my channel and my live streams on CDT's channel. Also, we've dug very deep into that case. We do believe that Watts is where he belongs, obviously. We do believe he had involvement, but I believe that there's others involved there. So that is all going to be kind of unveiled in this documentary in a factual for just straight through. It's just going to be laid out very detailed, guys. And thank you. It's just me, Meki. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. Thanks for being a member. Really appreciate your support. And I appreciate all your guys' support. For all my members who joined, thank you so much. For my moderators, you guys are awesome. For, just anyone who is subscribed and partakes even in the replays, in the comments down below. Good morning, Ashley Oaks and Christy B. We are concluding, but if you guys restart the stream, I feel like we had a good discussion on the case. So thank you so much. You guys have a wonderful day. Like I said, check out the Evil CJ Concept podcast. He's got a good channel. Allegedly has a great channel. I don't know if he's still in here. And then obviously CDT, my partner in crime, AKA my web sleuth detective partner, has a great channel too. So we'll talk soon, guys. I really appreciate you all. And yeah, thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your day. And yeah, bye.